Alrighty, so welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the East. Uh, the West. So moving to the West, in first place we have the Golden State Warriors. Absolute massive surprise to me here. I did not. I thought it was going to be like last season. They were going to be 500 without Clay. Not very good. But they are 10-1. And part of that is Jordan Poole. Part of that is Wiggins. Part of that is, adding Bielitsa, adding, who else did they add? I guess, excuse me, getting Iguodala back, Otto Porter. So they added some depth to their team, but still, this is really, really, really surprising. I did not think they were going to be this good. And when they get the Clay back, they're only going to be better. Clay should be back around Christmas time, I believe, or a little bit later. So really excited to see him play again. That's going to be a lot of fun. Um, and in second place, we have the Suns. A little surprised, honestly, they're this good. Aiden hasn't been playing recently. They have pretty much the same team, and besides for JaVale McGee. Um, and they've been doing well. Even after playing in the finals, better than the Bucks. So I'm kind of surprised they're doing this well. To be honest, and I don't know how long it can be sustained. They'll definitely be in the playoffs, but really, really interesting team to monitor. Next up is Utah. Not really a surprise here. They're 8-4, three seed. They're a good regular season team. They got a lot of depth, got a lot of good players. Gobert, Bogdanovich, Mitchell, who else? Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson. So they've got a lot of depth, and they're a good regular season team. So not much of a surprise there. Mavericks in fourth, really surprising. I don't think the Mavericks are very good. Obviously, they have Doncic, but besides for that, I mean, who's their second best player? Porzingis. I mean, he sucks. So, I actually had the Mavericks in like the 8 seed this year. I just don't believe in them at all. I don't think they're good. So that's me. Watch me be wrong, but you just can't put so much pressure on Luka to produce. They should have signed DeRozan, should have signed someone or traded for someone. They just need more depth to their team, and because they're just sewering Luka, to be honest. He just needs more guys to that can score and take pressure off him. Um, Next up, we have the Nuggets. The Nuggets are 7-4. They don't have Jamal Murray until the playoffs. They have a decent roster. I think they still have Aaron Gordon, if I'm not correct. Yeah, they have Aaron Gordon. They got Jeff Green, um, Will Barton, Monty Morris. They've Bones Highland. Shout out to Virginia Commonwealth. And then of course they got the boy Nikola Jokic. So kind of a deep team. Um, I didn't expect them to be doing this well though. Same with the Clippers, who are 7-5 or 7-4. But hats off to them, and hopefully they keep it up so they can get Jamal back in the playoffs, and they'll be a pretty worthy opponent. Clippers, obviously they are 7-4. Um, Pretty much the same team from last year. Really didn't add anyone except Justice Winslow. Um, really kind of the same team, and they're 7-4. And I didn't think that team was that great. It's a lot of pressure on Paul George, and he doesn't really have a second best player on that team. It's very spontaneous scoring, and they don't have a lot of depth, big man wise. So um, it'll be interesting to see how this team progresses throughout the season. But I don't have much to say on the Clippers. It's kind of a boring roster, as well as the Nuggets. They have Jokic and then a bunch of kind of like random role players. Um, so we'll see how they progress through the season. But I'm not really gonna follow them that much. It's just kind of a boring roster. An interesting roster is the Lakers, who are in seventh. They're 7-5 right now. Um, I mean, I expect the first off. Let's just say the Russ trade was terrible. it was kind of weird too. It was like, hey, we kind of need a point guard, so let's trade for Russell Westbrook, but let's also give up three really good role players and a first round pick and take his contract, which is horrible. So that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I didn't really get that. And they don't have Horton Tucker right now. LeBron's been out, I think, for a few games, and this is a thin bench when you do that. You're gonna have to start playing Malik Monk a lot more. He's a good player, but Avery Bradley, he's kind of washed. You know, they're they have some depth, but they still kind of need to gel together, which I guess is why they're 7-5. But I just don't really know if I'm sure about this Lakers team with Russ at the helm playing point. Um, I don't know. They should be better than I think they are right now, but it's going to take some time for them to get that team chemistry because it's just such a new team. And eighth is the Grizzlies, who are 6-5. I'm not a Grizzlies fan at all. I think Morant is honestly a little overrated. He's a good player, but like I don't think he can carry a team like Doncic. You know what I mean? I don't think he's like that. Uh, and then they have Jaren Jackson, who's a good player. They have Valanciunas, I believe. They have Dylan Brooks. They have some solid role players. Let's see, who else are their role players? Yeah, Desmond Bane's actually been pretty good. Same with DeAnthony Melton. Um, Brandon Clark's decent art too. But I just don't think, one, their star player isn't like insane. And then to go with that, they have like average to like below average role players, which I don't think is a good mix really. And I just don't think they're going to be very good. And I don't think they'll make the playoffs. One team that I would love to see make the playoffs is the Sacramento Kings. Huge fan of De'Aaron Fox. Again, he's another point guard I think is really underrated. Definitely think he's better than John Morant, as well as shout out to DeJounte Murray. So underrated too. Um, but anyways, the Kings are 5-7. They have a good rotation. I like Jemias Ramsey. I think he should get more minutes. Davion Mitchell, their draft pick, has been decent. They have Buddy Hield, a good 3-point shooter. Rashawn Holmes, good defensive center, good rebounder. Um, and then Harrison Barnes is kind of washed at this point, but still can give you some minutes, as well as Tristan Thompson. Would like to see them add. Oh, and they have Halliburton too. So yeah, I mean, probably need another role player, but I think they can do it. I think they can make the playoffs. I like the Kings, and I hope they finally do it and make the playoffs this year. Um, Other teams, the Spurs, 4-7. Not a huge fan of the Spurs. They just need more scoring and just more talent in general. But I think they have some underrated players. I can't remember. It's Derek White, I think. Derek White is his name. He is a beast. Um, yeah, Derek White. The Derek White, Devin Vassell is pretty good 3-point shooter. And then DeJounte Murray, who's a stud. I would trade Ben Simmons for DeJounte Murray 100%. He's just an absolute tank, beast, scores a lot of points. I just think he's a great point guard. So I think, just to go over, I think De'Aaron Fox, I think Malcolm Brogdon, and DeJounte Murray are all better than Ben Simmons. That's a hot take right there, but that's my reasoning. That's my take. And guess what? You know why they're better? Because they have confidence too. They have confidence. They are confident. In those playoff games, they're confident. And guess what? They're the main scorers on their team. So in those playoff games, when Ben Simmons is standing in the corner and not shooting the ball and scared, they're gonna be leading that team. They're gonna be making those buckets and scoring. So that's my opinion. Um, uh, I would definitely trade DeJounte Murray for Ben Simmons. Probably try to get some more because the public would think that's not a good trade. But that's just me. Um, Trailblazers, same team every year, and they're always mediocre. So I'm not gonna dive deep and say, oh, Dame will, okay, if Dame plays a little better, maybe they'll be a 6 seed. Still gonna lose in like the second round to, whoever. Thunder, I do want to talk about the Thunder. Thunder, really interesting this year. First off, shout out for the draft pick for Josh Giddey. I love Josh Giddey. I think he's a great player, and guess what? A lot of the things he does not show up on the stat sheet. Awesome defender, can play pretty much defense on anyone, can play any position. He can play forward and he can play guard. He can rebound. He got 12 rebounds the other night. Insane passer. Sure, he's not going to score a ton of points, but he is a really, really, really good. He's kind of like a Ben Simmons, honestly. He's just a really, really good role player. And people are like, oh, well, if you have the sixth pick, you shouldn't have taken a role player. That's fair, but I don't know. I just really like Josh Giddey. I think he's such a good pick. Great move by them. Obviously, besides that, they're led by Baisley, Lou Dort, and of course Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's been outperforming that max contract. Really been playing well recently, and kind of carrying this team. I don't think they're going to be very good this year, but they've got a good young core, and they really hit on Josh Giddey, so I'm really happy about that. And real basketball fans who watch the Thunder know Josh Giddey's a good player because he just does so much stuff that doesn't appear on the stat sheet, and he's not going to score 15 points or 20 points every game, but he's going to get a ton of rebounds. He's going to make great passes. He's going to make smart decisions with the basketball and play great defense. So there you go. Timberwolves. I want the Timberwolves to be good, but they just never are. They have horrible depth, and Anthony Edwards is a beast. He is a beast. Great pick by them at first overall. 48 points against the Warriors the other day, bro. That is insane. But when you have guys like Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, I'm not a fan of Naz Reid. Russell is washed. Like, he's not that great. Jared Vanderbilt. Like, when those guys are your role players, you're just not going to be that good. You can't compete with other teams. So they need more depth. They need more role players. I also think Towns and Russell are kind of overrated. Towns, maybe not. I feel so bad for him. He's, kind of trapped in Minnesota. And, every year it's like, oh, they're going to trade him. No, they're not. Next up is the Rockets. Look, the Rockets I think they've won one game, right? Yeah, the Rockets have won one game. Whatever. They're doing what they want. They're tanking. They're going to get another good draft pick. Jalen Green looks decent. Not as good as I thought he was going to be. I thought, honestly, I could see him being better than Cade. Like, before the season, I thought that, but I think Cade's kind of holding his own. And then they have Christian Wood. If they're smart, they'll trade him for a first-round pick to a team like Chicago, Minnesota, if they want, or just a team that needs a role player and some defense. Same with Eric Gordon. So if I'm the Rockets, trade all your assets, be horrible, just tank and get some good draft picks. Then the Pelicans. Oh my God, the Pelicans. Lord have mercy. Pelicans are 1-11. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I mean, I thought they were going to be a 10 or 11 seed. Zion not looking good. Looks like he's probably going elsewhere, which is just heinous. And I don't know. I just think that's hilarious. Yeah, need to be better. Not much to say on them. Really boring franchise, really boring team to follow. And got to start playing better, I guess. Anyways, thank you. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.